Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Let us talk about Group L and some of the results we saw last night where England drew with Ghana 0-0. Controversial. We all saw it. Ghana were absolutely robbed. Two great decisions that should have gone their way. Game changers. And I think the England players know, a majority of the England fans have conceded that they got very lucky. And it was really unfair because you send African nations to the World Cup and then you treat them like rubbish, steal points off them like that. The English team should have lost, but sometimes you know what? You make your own luck. England managed to salvage a draw. And in the end, it was a good point for Ghana because everything that was happening and the influence of the referee was geared towards robbing them of the 3 point of the 3 points, but they only robbed them of two, which is amazing. I thought that Ghana did a great job. They were very defensive. The first half was a snooze fest. I thought that the second half was very interesting. I thought that the second half was more interesting, and I want to watch it again because there were a lot of technical things Ghana were doing, the way they were playing in phases, the way they were like timing some of their challenges. It was very deliberate. They were so relaxed and doing a lot of things deliberately. But that's because they had the man in midfield who can control midfields for days at the end of the day. Which they won't have in both games that they're playing in Canada because we know Thomas Partey is not able to travel to Canada because of visa issues linked to his rape case in the UK. So basically now the table looks like this. We've got both Ghana and England on 4 points. We've got Croatia on 3 points because Croatia went and beat Panama. 1-0. Yeah, so I didn't watch that because it was a stupid o'clock again, which is the worst thing. This World Cup, yeah, as much as I've enjoyed all the games I have watched, it is forcing me to actually be functional and do stuff in the day. You know what I mean? So as much as it's horrible not being able to watch 3 a.m. games for me, it's actually pretty good because I can continue being a grown up and a mom, isn't it? So Croatia beats Panama, but it means for Ghana, they need 1 point to progress into the next round. And England, of course, is the same issue, but England, I think we know, should be able to beat Panama pretty easily. And I feel like that should be an easy game for England to win. I cannot see them being as defensive as the Ghanaians were and being as disciplined as the Ghanaians were. So I feel like England and Ghana are going to go through to the next stage as 1 and 2, which is absolutely sensational. But we should not deny the fact that they were robbed yesterday. They should be leading this group. They should be leading this group with 6 points. But it didn't happen, so we shouldn't cry too much. It's spilled milk. Another thing that I wanted to mention with that game I watched, England versus Ghana, was I am actually very proud with how level-headed the Ghanaians were, because it got to a point where I was mockingly saying, oh, this referee is dirty, which he wasn't. He was just incompetent. And it would have been very easy for them to lose their focus. They would argue and say, but look, it was 50-50. I got the ball. Sometimes they were not getting the ball. There was a point one of the Ghanaian players was elbowed and Bellingham elbowed somebody. They gave the foul to Bellingham. Even he was like blinking, heck, how did that happen? So there were so many strange things happening, but I think it was one of those referees. Apparently it's from Honduras. Very dodgy, very inept. And also VAR. The coach for Ghana asked if VAR went on a coffee break or something. They went they went to the bar. They were not in the VAR room because they did not intervene at any point in that match. Two decisions: a red card offense from a goalkeeper out of his box, stopping a player getting on the ball. At the end of the day, if that is allowed, you should just allow the keepers to stay out of the box and basically just block the path of strikers. But of course, that can't happen because not all referees are that bad. Regardless, anyway, we all accept, most of the people accept that it was very bad officiating and England got lucky. Nevertheless, guys, I feel like despite that game, England are going to be one of the teams to beat, and they are headed still into the semi-final at a minimum. I did feel like it was coming home, but it just depends on the kind of team they're going to meet on their journey towards the finals, because I feel like they did not acquit themselves very well against the low block, against a very defensive team. Not only, and the defensive team, what I'm talking about is Ghana were defending together. The minute Noni got the ball, there were 4 players around him, 3 players around him. The minute Bellingham got the ball, there were 3 players around him. The minute somebody let off a shot, there was a big block. Hey, Agbado. Hey, so there was a lot of organized defending. These guys have been studying England. These guys are very intelligent. They are very together. And at no point through that 90 minutes did they look like they were going to lose the thread at all. England made changes. They made technical changes. They looked very sort of like threatening was when Rashford came on, because I don't know what Tuchel was doing. He brought in Saka but kept Noni Madueke on. Swap him out, because that defender on that wing, Mensah, is already tired. Bring on Saka, let him try something new, like we did against Croatia. That's what happened, But he switched him off to the left, took Gordon off, which was a bit like, and the thing is, Noni Madueke put in some decent crosses, but there was no one in the box. Well, actually, there was somebody in the box, just in the wrong position, because one of the other defenders, Opoku, and this Ajate, actually, I got the name wrong for the defender earlier. That's Agbado, is not from thingy, another team. But this Opoku and Ajate made sure that Harry Kane was absolutely very quiet throughout the game. And that was going in there was basically just absolutely a waste of time. Those guys are bigger and stronger. All those crosses from Declan Rice were never, they intercepted about 90% of those chances, headed them out of the box. So yeah, it was a very difficult match for England, and it's going to worry them when they face certain teams. I think if they played like a France, they might have problems. The only thing they'll have an advantage on with France against Ghana is the commitment. Saliba and Konate and Upamecano going to have that same determination to stop them passing through and stuff. That is what is worrying me a little bit. Otherwise, when you look at it, I feel like England can still do very well, but I feel like they made a huge mistake in that midfield by not including Miles Lewis-Skelly. I know, I've said it before, and I'm very short-sighted, but that's because I have, even when Arsenal were playing before they started using Miles Lewis-Skelly, I could see the problem. You basically are facing a low block, and you've got very functional players in there. You've got Declan Rice, you've got Elliot Anderson. I've watched Elliot twice now. And he's a good player, I think, from what I saw yesterday. Physical, but he's very like Declan Rice. You need some creativity, some sharpness, and some ingenuity in that position. Play either Elliot and Miles or Rice and Miles. But you have crippled yourself. The only people who are happy that Miles Lewis-Skelly didn't go to the World Cup are the opposition, the ops. They are happy. The French players are like, good, we don't have to worry about this maverick in midfield who can defend and who can switch play, who can basically transition the ball. So defensively, Elliot Anderson was doing great. But offensively, what was he doing? It means that Rice has to do things that like against, when he was playing with Martin Zubimendi, yeah? Rice had to work for Martin as well as for himself. So basically he's trying to create chances going forward. He created the most chances yesterday for England, by the way, by an outfield play. By any of the England team, he was the one who created 6 chances for the team. So he was up there, but he is having to work hard to get that midfield functional. Whereas when he plays with Miles, the guy can chill out because he knows he's covered. Though the things that he does 80% of the time to protect that defense, he's only doing it 30% of the time. So you finished him off. And of course, him and Thomas Partey had a big hug yesterday after the game. We know the politics behind it. We know the case behind it 100%. But Declan Rice played his best football when he played with Thomas Partey because he was not tired. He was having a great time because he knew whatever was leaking behind. And this is not a perfect Thomas Partey, by the way. He was already, obviously, when you think about it, going through a lot. But he used to have a great time. He would leave Thomas there. He knows the risk is reduced if I go doing what I want to do. And then he couldn't do it with Zubimendi. He almost killed himself playing through injuries and pain and collecting more injuries as he was going, because the guy you've put him against, it's not safe for him to actually function in his role freely. He has to look back and behind. So yeah, that is a problem. I think we have crippled ourselves by leaving my baby boy Miles Lewis Skelly. Because he is the only player I have seen in all the leagues who is different in that midfield, who is different, who is most like Thomas Partey in the way he plays, in the way he reads the game, the way he can control the game. Like Eze is similar, but Eze plays further up. These guys who can just turn and everything changes. He'll turn in the direction where your opposition are not expecting because they just don't know how to judge your movement. And yeah, we've messed it up literally by not having that element in the side, but we might still get away with it. But when we get a low block, I think we are going to another low block. I think we're going to suffer again and fail to create open chances because I feel like our midfield has crippled itself effectively. Jude Bellingham, I thought, was fantastic. He was fantastic throughout, actually. Rice definitely the better player. When Morgan Rogers came on, I thought he was pretty bright, very bright. Some chances are created. Rashi was fantastic as well when he came on. Saka, amazing, a fantastic attempt at goal, which was saved by Asare. So yeah, but yeah. I'm hoping Ghana do well. I'm hoping Ivory Coast do well. I still haven't forgiven Ivory Coast, by the way. I haven't forgiven them for that madness they showed versus Germany. Adingra, I haven't forgiven you, but I'm working towards it, In my Christian faith, I need to forgive you. So, yeah, we are going there. South Africa have been a letdown. Morocco, you know what, guys? I'm so glad I chose not to hate watch Morocco because there's no point. Morocco are basically in fact, the best African team we have got. We all know why they are the best, but we have to accept it. And they're going to do pretty well. I don't know how well they're going to do in the closing stages of everything, but we'll go from there. We're going to see. So I am absolutely rooting for them again. DRC Congo lost to Colombia after I supported them. I supported these guys, you guys, but they lost by 1-0. And some of the highlights I've seen, they sort of like ran out of ideas. And when they were being attacked, they just did not sort of know how to protect themselves. So that was naughty of them. Senegal lost too. They don't look great. They're going to be playing Iraq. We'll see. We're going to talk about that later. Egypt as well won the other day, so they look half decent. But for me, let's see how these last games of the group stages go. Then we can discuss where we went wrong as Africa and where we're going right. And then we'll go from there. Otherwise, guys, thanks for joining me. Do not forget to like and subscribe and all the good things if you like this content so far. I'll be talking to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.